Hi everybody, this is Steve, and today I wanted to do a quick review on the AcrylPro ceramic tile adhesive. And even though it is the label on it says it's a ceramic tile adhesive, it does say it sets porcelain, ceramic, marble, and stone tile. Now this review is definitely going to be a non-biased review. I'm not going to necessarily recommend it or put out a negative review on it. I really want you to make a decision on your own based on the test results that you're going to see. And the real reason I wanted to do this review is because I've seen a lot of negative reviews online, but my experiences with it have been fairly positive. So it's a pretty simple test here today. I've got some green board over here with two pieces of tile. This tile is actually the same tile. This is just a cut down of this 2x4, which is actually, I think this is also cut down to about a 2x3 at this point in time. It is travertine. And if you look on the back here, you might see it's kind of shiny. It might be kind of hard to see on the camera, but this is actually using a mesh backing with a resin. And that's going to be part two of the test here. The first part of the test is I really want to see how well this AcrylPro bonds to the back of the tile as well as the drywall, because I hear a lot of people saying that this stuff never dries out. You know, they say that it's in buckets for a year and it still hasn't dried yet. And a lot of people are online pulling up tile that has been sitting for 2 weeks and it's still very mushy and it's still very wet and hasn't dried out. So that's part one. I want to see how well this stuff adheres to the back of the tile and how well it sticks. Part two of this, I really want to take a look at this resin on the back, because a lot of videos talk about how you have to use epoxy now as opposed to thin set and ceramic tile adhesive or tile adhesives. A lot of people are saying that this mesh on these back of these mosaics, which is what this came from. I think it's a 12x12 mosaic. They say that you have to use these epoxies as opposed to thin set. And the reason I'm going to do two tiles here is the first tile, I want to get this one wet. I'm going to let it soak just a little bit, probably just a minute or two in water, just to simulate a wet saw cut with this one. And then I'm just going to go ahead and do this one dry, and I'm going to leave them on for about 72 hours. And what we're going to come back and do is pull them off of the green board I have over here and kind of see what the results are. So I'm going to go ahead and get this set up. I am going to use a 1/4 inch V-notch trowel. I do want to talk about that for just a second, but I'm going to cut the video and come back in just a minute. Okay, so we're back. So I used a 1/4 inch V-notch trowel. You could probably get away with the 3/16 if you'd like. Again, with the smaller tile, I did run it underwater for, I don't know, probably about 30 seconds to a minute, just to kind of simulate, again, a wet saw hitting it and cutting it down. This mesh gets a little bit tacky as it sits, so it'll be kind of interesting to see what happens, see if this mesh actually pulls away from the tile, if this AcrylPro really sticks with the tile. So let's just drop this guy on. And I'm sure most of you know that you move it in the opposite direction of your actual grooves. So this one's totally dry here, so we're going to drop this one on as well. All right, so we'll let that sit for, I think I'm going to do 72 hours. They say anywhere from 24 to 72 hours, so I like to take things to the limit. I'm not in a rush here, so we'll come back in about 72 hours and we'll see if they come off very easily. Hi everybody, I wanted to give you just a 24-hour update, kind of let you know how things are going. I'm not going to pull on the tile or anything like that, but I did notice that the smaller ridges here, they're pretty solid, right? I mean, it's pushing in on it. I can feel it start fluxing just a hair, but not too much. My fingernail will probably dig into it, as you can see there. Hopefully you can see that. So still pretty solid though for only 24 hours. Again, definitely not thin set. And this thicker part over here, this was from the edge of the trowel, not the actual the grooves. The thicker part's definitely a little bit flexible. You can push on it pretty hard, but you got to kind of force it. Again, I'm not going to pull on the tile or anything like that. And another thing to note is that this green board, this tile has been sitting in my garage, so it's an unconditioned room, and it has been raining here since 5:30 this morning when I got up. So actually I think it stopped around 4 p.m. so it was raining almost a good 12 straight hours. So it's pretty high humidity in here today. And again, I'm down in Florida, so we always run pretty heavy humidity in the summertime. But anyways, I'm going to come back at 48 hours, take a look at this again, see how the mastic or the ceramic tile adhesive is doing, and then we'll come back with the final at 72 hours. All right, so we're back again. It's been about 48 hours, and not much has changed between 24 and 48. Still kind of, I wouldn't say soft, but you know, you can definitely push in on it a little bit if you try. But it's, you can kind of hear it. It's pretty solid right now. I don't think it's gonna get any more solid than it already is. I can put my fingernail into it, but I gotta kind of push kind of hard. So we'll come back in about 72 hours, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna attempt to rip this one off over here, see how that goes, and then I might pour some water on this. I really want to see what the water does to the actual tile adhesive, because I heard some pretty bad things about it, and this stuff is supposed to just turn back to mush. Still kind of mushy down here, but not it's not rock solid. But I can't imagine these tiles just falling off the wall. So we'll come back in about another 24 hours, and that'll be 72 hours exactly. All right, so it's been 72 hours, and we're going to see if we can get either one of these two off. I know I talked about doing a water test on the one to the right, but I think for right now I just want to see if these come off. Just to give you an update, the adhesive is I wouldn't say as soft as it was yesterday. It's definitely drying out more. I can still put my finger nail into it. It's pretty hard though. I mean, it's not like anything's like bending or flexing on me. Even the thick stuff down here is pretty good. So I'm going to see if I can just grab this guy and kind of leverage him down here a little bit and see what happens. All right, he doesn't seem like he's going anywhere. I'm going to try the bigger tile, see if I get more leverage on it. Nope, he's not coming off. All right, so I'm going to jam a screwdriver in here, pop him off. I am having to hammer this guy in there, see if I can get it off. Okay, so he's coming off. Just a little bit over here. He's going to come off here. And with him comes a lot of drywall, right? Well, at least maybe not a lot of drywall, but at least a top sheet of drywall. So that's taking off, as you can see here, the top layer of the drywall. So kind of what that tells me is that the number one, the mesh is held up. I know that I had some concerns about the mesh using with the tile adhesive, because everybody talks about mesh and having to use epoxy for mesh. But it appears that the actual tile adhesive has stuck to the tile well enough, not only the tile, but also the mesh, and the mesh is stuck to the tile well enough that it's ripped the entire drywall off over here. So peel this guy off a little bit further. Still green board on the back of the tile, which again tells me that the adhesive is not separated from the actual tile. So, and you can see what I'm left with here on the back of this, if you can see this, is really just the green board on the back. So there's been no separation whatsoever. And that's a small piece of tile here. It's only a 2x2, so not a lot of surface space to get a lot of grab. I mean, ultimately it seems like it's a tile adhesive has actually worked pretty well. And again, using this for like a kitchen backsplash, I just can't imagine this stuff just falling off the wall over time. I just don't see it happening. For this guy over here, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with him just yet. I was thinking about pouring some water on him, but I don't even think that even makes sense. You know, if I have water directly shooting at a kitchen backsplash, I've got bigger problems to worry about than just the actual tile. So I think what I'll do is also pry this guy off and see if we got the same problem, or not the same problem, but if we get the same thing, which we do. Again, it pulled the entire drywall apart here, the top layer of the drywall. So again, the mesh is holding up. The tile adhesive is definitely sticking on the back of the tile. I just don't see this stuff falling apart. I mean, I wouldn't use this in a shower, but I'm just not seeing it, this tile adhesive as being anything negative for using it in a kitchen backsplash situation. I wouldn't use this on the floor, although it seems like it's really kind of sticking to the tile pretty well. I assume it would stick to your subfloor fairly well, assuming your subfloor is prepped properly. But yeah, this stuff seems like it's working pretty good. So again, this was the AcrylPro tile adhesive. I don't really see a problem with it. Again, I see a lot of negative reviews online, but it really seems like it's sticking to this green board fairly well. And again, it doesn't get quite as hard as thin set, but you know, you're not walking on kitchen tile or kitchen backsplash tile, right? You're just it's just there for decorative purposes. And also take into consideration you're going to put grout in between the joints. That's going to add some structural integrity as well to the tile. So again, I just don't see the stuff falling off. So again, I'm not trying to give necessarily my opinion on it, but wanted to kind of show you what the test results do show. Thank you for watching.